My story of fear of success. Many years ago, today I bring to you a slice from my life. And this is when I was in my early 20s. I used to work as a leader because I used to also work for a startup and would manage very, very critical, complex projects with a very successful track record of managing people, processes, and systems. But after a point in time in my life, I find that I was not really making any breakthrough in my career and also not in my personal life. Somehow I felt a bit stuck, and it was as if I was not really ready for any new role or responsibility. In a way, I was a bit afraid of success, happiness, and joy. Even though there were times where I would sit and wonder, when I reflect, why is it that everyone in this world is so happy and happiness evade me? Very little did I realize that I was the person standing in front of my own self, because deep down I was shit scared of success and happiness. My fear of being successful and happiness, this thing I realized when I worked extensively with my coach. And before I worked, for many years, I lived a life in a shell, in a vicious circle of stress, just being happy with whatever came my way, uh, not thinking that I deserve more or I should seek more, because deep down, I was afraid of success and happiness. Hearing success and happiness made my life and me somehow similar to this image that you see on the screen. My career was drifting away from the track. I was a person of lot of self-doubt on anything that I would do. And I would sit for hours and hours together, evaluating, analyzing. But I never shared it anywhere. Nobody could ever find out that I was this person. This image on your screen represent me many years ago, a person with a wonderful track record of performance and good luck, fortune, loving family, people around me. Regardless of that, this was the inner side of me. Scared to move ahead, constantly self doubting, low in confidence, but I never appeared like that. And never did I appear as if somebody who's anxious. If you go and check back with any of my friends or colleagues who would know me of those times, to them I came across as a superstar, as a top performer, as a confident human being. But this was the real me, scared and full of doubts. Now, this is a very interesting slide. I pulled it up from my journal entry actually. And what I intend to share with you here through this story is to let you all know that how certain things in our life, which we may never pay attention to or never even think they are impacting us, are actually playing a critical role in the way we are thinking and behaving. So this image of a ghost, this I captured from Amar Chitrakatha series, one of my favorite comic books. I grew up reading them. And when I worked with my mentor and coach, and I was asked to visualize my fear, to me, it looked like this. And even though I was afraid of success and happiness, this is how success and happiness were to me. They were like a ghost, and which I was scared of. So, as I mentioned earlier, that it manifested as somebody with doubts, and my performance track was not really going the right way. One very interesting incident which really helped me deep dive was this, which I'm sharing with you and which I had pulled out from my journal entry. When I was, maybe this was in my early 20s, I was afraid of eating nuts and good food. Yeah, you heard it correctly. Uh, when I say good food, for me, the meaning I associated with good food was, when I say good food, it was something not in terms of nutrition, I would say, in terms of something like a delicacy, like enjoying an ice cream or a cheese tart or a real rich dessert and filled with nuts. I always would avoid, even if I'm at a dinner party or at a get together, I would make sure that I would eat simple food, the very quintessential common stuff. And I would avoid this. And when I did this intensive work with my coach, and we were working on several things, but this is one of it. This really came up, which took me by surprise. When I dig deep and understood the meaning I associated with good food, which was equivalent to joy and celebration. And my belief was, if you have a gala time, you have happiness and a joyful life, or you're celebrating a lot, it would eventually, for sure, will turn into or will follow up by an unpleasant negative event. Now, this was a belief that was indoctrinated in me in my growing years. I had, my childhood was spent in a joint family. So a lot of people influenced me, my paternal uncle and aunts, my maternal uncle and aunts. And I have heard stories in my young years, then in my teenage years. Plus, my father suffered from chronic depression. So perhaps I had inherited some of his genes. So somehow, joy, happiness, and celebrations was something I got to set in my mind, in my memory, as an indoctrinated belief that if I enjoy and if I celebrate and I have lots of happiness coming my way, it will be followed by an unpleasant negative event or an experience, which I was more scared of. So this is what you see on the screen is the findings. When I was trying to understand the meanings I associated with joy, which started with good food, why I avoided it, because if I eat good food, which means I'm celebrating, I'm happy, I have a joyful experience, and I am for sure now have to wait for something very unexpected or unpleasant to happen, which I was very scared of. Some part of my trauma and fears I have inherited from my grandmother and my father, who had been through a very tough life in their own respective lives. So this I understood very late in some other sessions where I did with my another coach, but that's for another time. As on today, what I share with you is the reason, the meanings I associated with good food. And the deeper reasons, as I dig deep, of joy and celebration and indoctrinated belief in my young years, I captured from the people who influenced me, from the movies I watched, or from the stories I read, that good food is a sign of joy and celebration. And if you are joyful, you will have sorrow. And sorrow was something I was afraid of. I didn't know what really it meant, but this was so deeply embedded inside me that to avoid it, I would avoid the joy part. So I was like, might as well let me not just begin it in the first place. So, and the way it would manifest was I would avoid eating any good delicacy because I wanted the status quo to continue. I was very afraid of moving to the other side where it was not really uh, as horrible as I was imagining it to be. Friends, this part of me, I'm sure it may resonate with most of you who's listening to this. We all have our deep embedded beliefs, indoctrinated beliefs. Some are as silly as this one, as you're seeing it on your screen. Afraid of eating nuts, almonds, cashew nuts, and good food. And some can be serious, but this is a this is a result of a deep dive session I did with my coach over a several period of weeks, spanned into weeks. And something I was so unaware of for such a long time that I deprived myself of the joy I deserved, of the happy moments I was bestowed with, but I never fully, completely enjoyed them. You know why? Because of this meaning that I associated with good food. After this session with my coach, I actually was so silent for almost a long time, reflecting. In fact, I should use a more appropriate word, regretting how many years I just simply let go by moments of joy and happiness, or maybe those gatherings and the good food, with this thought and belief indoctrinated in my head. To that, added up with my own preconceived notions and assumptions, and something that I never wrote, something that I never uh, confront to really understand what was at play. It's only after the work that I did with my coach, I understood this is where it is coming from. This is why I let the status quo continue. I was willing to stay in a neutral state than to experience the beautiful emotions of life, both in sorrow and in joy. And as a result of that, I also had suppressed many of my emotions, which then led to other issues, which again is another session. I'll talk about that. So this is the deep work. I share this piece for most of you to understand because many people have their own apprehensions. What does a life coach do? Are they a therapist? Are they going to heal me? So through this particular page, I basically want to convey to each and any one of you who's listening to this session that a coach has such powerful tools which can help you live a more meaningful, more rich, and a more pleasant life. I wish I knew this before. I would have jumped and run to a coach and sought help. But that's what life is all about. The moment I realized this, I understood how crucial it is for us to seek support and live a life, enjoy it, rather than just staying stuck in these meanings we associate with several things based on our indoctrinated beliefs or our past experiences. So, friends, if you have something for a long, long time as an indoctrinated belief you held, and because of which you are depriving yourself of the joy and happiness and your share of good life or good food in this life, I suggest seek support. Hire a coach for yourself. My issue was resolved. I not only became more self aware, understood my fears, where they are coming from, what exactly it is. But based on that, I have also created my signature style program, which is the Journey of Self. This is a coaching program. And this lighthouse, this is a picture I use. You will see that on my Sleek bio as well, you will find this picture. I believe we coaches are like this lighthouse. My coach is a lighthouse for me, and I am spreading my light to several others. And I urge any one of you who's a coach or even somebody who seeks a coach, just like how a lighthouse guides the vessels on and offshore, help you understand what are the dangers, how to stay safe, and guide you from time to time. The role of a coach is very similar to that. And my Journey of Self program is built exactly on this very values: to guide, to advise, to facilitate, to help transform anyone enrolling in this, to learn those methods and techniques and live a more purposeful, rich, meaningful life filled with happiness and joy, and equip you with tools that would help you navigate through the most difficult or challenging situations and not stay stuck the way I was. That's the core intention I have. Now, if you want to learn what really this journey of self is all about, here's what it contains. Here I present to you this journey of self. This coaching program I have developed basis on the things I have learned my way. And this is an extension of my expertise to help anyone just like me in the age group of early 30s to around mid 40s, finding themselves in deep crisis, or perhaps not really knowing what to do when they are either experiencing a setback or a sudden crisis. Now, this signature program of mine, just the way I was helped, would help anyone, beginning with the present day challenge that they are in, helping them really find their way through these 7 phases to where exactly they want to be. The overall theme of this program is into 7 phases. And as you see it on the screen, every phase has a sub theme underneath it, which step by step we would together build your resilience muscle. In my previous video, I had mentioned that I had introduced a short-term and a long-term program. But after some discussions, there's a slight change in that, wherein now I would keep this only for 3 months. And just the way I was helped, I extend my support and help to anyone seeking to build their resilience. So here's what happens when you apply and enroll with me. I call this the Triple C, Coach Consultation Call. So if you're interested to explore this with me, The first thing you do is you have the link given in the description box, and you'll find it also on my website. You fill in the application form. It's actually a Google survey form with some set of questions. Now, this questions basically is to help me, your coach, understand how best can I be of help to you. So this is the very idea here, is to help you, and I can help you best only when I understand and get an idea of what kind of help you need. So the application form has a set of questions you need to answer, submit. Basis on the details you have shared, your call is scheduled by me, and the call is for a 60 to a 90 minute. It can vary in time depending on our discussion, which then within the call, you will be put across to a specific methodology that I have designed and created, helping you and helping me. How it helps you is it helps you experience how life coaching works, and it helps me check whether I'm the right coach for you, because I believe I want to really add that value to the trust you repose in me when you sign up with me. So I usually check fitment, and at times there could be issues where are beyond my scope of work, and I may just redirect you to the right resource, because I think each one of us deserve the best. So not necessary that coaching is the right answer for you. So I may redirect you. But if everything goes well, you enroll. And we start. Here's the resource referral. Basically, this is where I was talking about when the fitment is not, uh, where we realize that the person is not the right fitment, and I may just give you a resource to refer to, which can be of more help than me as your coach. Otherwise, we enroll, and then from this, from the resource referral, this is when there's no fitment found, and otherwise it's enrollment. And from here, the final step here is the coaching journey. Your journey of self begins here. Thank you. And I look forward to having a quick conversation with you. Thank you.